matter, you are still part of that family. But it's unfortunate that in this setting of our life nowadays, we don't even know what is right from what is wrong. A lot of people, once the husband passes away, they believe relationship is the head, that you just have to move on. But that's not how it's supposed to be. Relationship doesn't end because of death. Family is still family. And that's why I said last week, you can never say you are getting married to somebody. And when I said love is not enough, love is not enough. Because these are your family. You need to continue to be part of that family, even when there's nobody. Even when the man is alive, you are part of that family. When the man died, you are still part of that family. So nothing is going to change it. And these are the things that we need to start realizing in our lives. That there's a lot of things that we need to understand as widows. That family is still your family, despite whatever happened. Even if they like you, they don't like you, they hate you, they don't hate you, they're still your family. And the in-laws are also forgetting that children in that family, and that children is their blood. So no matter what happened, it's still part of the family. So all this issue of somebody died, there's argument because of that, we are no longer family, needs to stop.
Okay, I'm going to take you there, Gozie, because part of the things we are trying to do is to teach ourselves. I've seen some widows that said it, that they are, that they're not going to. I have told my children, even over my dead body, when you're going to get married, make sure that these people's family are not people's family, because at that point, because they are not involved. Like that girl story I used last week. She said so that the mother said it, even over her dead body, that when they are getting married, none of their father's family will be called. What do you have to say to this?
Now, the widow didn't just wake up and made that proclamation. Apparently, something must have transpired that led her into making such a decision. But then, marriage has its rules. There are rules of engagement when it comes to marriage. The two families will have to meet. And what I believe a widow should do is, amongst every member in that family, there must be somebody. There must be someone who will be there and available. And I'm not going to force any widow who takes that kind of decision. Because, for instance, there's a matter right now in Enugu of a young girl who's 38 and lost her husband. She was pregnant with the first child, new marriage. And now this man is there. The baby, a girl, is 1 year and 6 months. And her mother-in-law and her married daughters have said to this girl, go. The baby you came to take care of has died. It's an Igbo proverb. Oh, you go home. Now, and that they don't know this child, that the child is not theirs. They have made this point. Now, if 25 years later, this 1 year, 6-year-old, 1.5-year-old child wants to get married, and maybe he will be marrying the son of the president, you will see the same family members. Now, when they come out and start saying, oh, is our family, she's part of us, people will now start forcing this widow to recant without also knowing why she took the decision. So a lot of widows are going through so much that they say to themselves, I don't want anything to do with this family. Why would they treat me like this? People are entitled to how they feel. But what I think that families must begin to consider, if you really love your brother, your son, I don't know what the wife will do, the widow of that late person deceased will do to you, that will make you to even despise your own blood. That woman is not your blood. And I don't even want to be anybody's blood at this age. But your children, your nephew, your niece. And let me tell you the new thing that is happening, because I do a lot of interaction with widows' children. The widows are not even the problems anymore. These children of the widows who witness that from the point their fathers died, these people don't come, who witness the struggle over property, who witness things being done to their mothers. Some of them are saying to me that they don't want anything, or that they will get married in the city, that they don't want. So the children of the widows are also seeing it. And we must begin to find ways to bring healing from the root. So I am not in support of the widow being angry forever. 20 years down the line, drop it and let it go. Because some of these in-laws will come back and say they are sorry. Forgive and let it go.
Think healing from the root. That
Yes.
is an apt discussion. Regina, I'm going to come to you. You know, remember, I'm going to remind you our discussion. Nigeria is a very moralistic state, nation, people. And Gozie have said it. Some widows really have a reason to be that angry. So, you know, somebody out there is watching. Somebody out there is in that shoe. Because remember, because they said it, marriage has its own rule. Marriage has its own things and its own blessings. What is your own take when it comes to this? Family. You have abandoned me 15 years. I married your brother, and now your daughter, your sister, or your niece is full grown and he wants to marry. So what do you have to say? Okay, I'm going to take it from this side. Say it from the angle that you are the person and you want.
Oh, can you pick up Regina?
Now she has to start all over.
Yes, we can't pick out. We can't hear her.
I can't hear her either.
So you continue. Yeah,
Okay.
speak up.
So, you know, Regina, we can't hear you. Regina, we can't hear you. Regina, hold on, sweetie, we can't hear you. So okay, let's continue. When she gets her audio, Regina, please, whenever you can hear us, get back to us. We are saying what I'm going to say is this. Because I like the way you said it. You are not going to ask the widow to be angry forever, because reality is that most of the time they come back, you know, trying to make faces. But I'm going to go to Bumi, because she made a point that it is no longer the widow that is the issue. It is the children. So as a mental health specialist, you know, how do you reconcile these children when they go on unhappy? Regina, can you talk? We can't hear you. Okay. We can't hear you. Come again. Can you?
We can't hear her. Oh, continue. She's not muted, but we can't hear her.
She's not muted. Okay. Let's continue. Regina, we can't hear you. Whenever we pick you up, we bring you back. Sorry. What we are saying is this. As a mental health person, how do you now, these children, because I have find them in my space, you could see that even though we widows, because I call it conspiracy of silence, we as widows, we endure this, even making all the effort to cover it up so that the children not know. Unknowingly, I realize that even the children know. And you know, what is their mental? What do you think? Say to people what they're actually doing to these children at their mental state.
What I want to say, I would give the case of my own son as a scenario.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I have one of my in-laws that virtually, because she's not getting on with me after the funeral,
okay,
due to what you know happens between in-laws and everybody, and he doesn't communicate with my son. All of a sudden, he started testing my son. I didn't tell my son. I didn't need to tell him thing. But he knew that this person was not communicating with her. This person doesn't call the mom. And because of that, it has registered in his brain. And this lady kept calling my son in school, testing my son after the father has died, after 1, 2, 3 years. You now decide you want to talk to my son after 3 years. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
And this small boy, has called in his brain without me knowing. Just one day, he just came home and told me, oh, come and see the messages that so person has been sending to you. I said, you can reply. He said, I'm not going to reply. Whoever doesn't love my mom doesn't love me. That's a child.
Hold you on that. Whoever doesn't love my mom doesn't love me. Because the reality is that at the end of the day, they blame the woman that you have indoctrinated the children against them. Regina, are you here? Yes. Woo, Regina, welcome back.
Thank you so much. Yes. Amazing points you ladies are making. But I'm still going to come back to the fact that, look, this is a serious matter. You know, last week, Bumi said something. He said, look, love is not really enough. When we marry in Africa, we marry a family. Now, you see, this woman has been wounded and she is acting like the wounded lion that she is. And like Jose said, how long would I be angry that I want to make a generational enemies for my children? I do not want to do that. I do not want to do that. As painful as that is, now it is a two-way thing. Beyond the fact that this child has a family, she's going to another family, and we know what family means to Africa. If I should allow a young girl go to marry and then they know that her family and her have acrimony, you know what that means? We know the ups and downs in marriages. Should that girl go through a trouble or some situation, they would come back. These in-laws, there are always in-laws somewhere. Her own in-laws will wake up and tell her, look, you do have a family. You that your father's people do not blah, 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 blah. But let's come back to this reality. For those families that do that, I think sometimes there's this selfishness, especially when they know that the widow would kind of roughen it. She roughens the tide, she goes through everything, because sometimes the adrenaline of wanting to see your children get better is actually what drives many, widows. When an in-law will come out and pronounce and say, these children are not our own. I've seen that happen. I think 2016, there's a widow that I know I'm quite close with. She actually had that issue for 21 years. The family didn't come near her. They didn't even ask her. She had 7 children. They didn't ask her because most of the children were our girls. But the day the youngest one was getting married, she had to call a meeting, a family meeting. She told the children, she said, look, we need to get your father's family. And the girls started shouting, no, mommy, we don't know anybody. We don't have a family. We went, some of us had to come in. It's not because of you. It's not really because of you want to pay them back. But you have to have yourself protected so that your in-laws too will know that you have people. Who knows, amongst the family, somebody might wake up and begin to ask questions. And I realize that, look, honestly speaking, we wronged this woman. They could want to wrong the right. And for that also, we're not praying for any relationship. What if your own children, the girl's children now grow up and meet her cousin's children, and then one day they'll come and tell you, we want to marry. And then guess what? You start making, questions, you now find it might be outside the country. And then you realize that these people are related. It's quite painful. But let me tell you, the widow is very painful. But I'm beginning, our advice should go directly to the family of the man. Most of the time, the family make it look like time doesn't change. They are so blinded by the mundane, the present predicament they have placed the woman in. They've packed everything, they've taken everything. They have this mindset thinking that things would never change. And most times when things change, the widow always has the better part of the stick. So I think in-laws should begin to have a rethink, because life changes. You too might be the one short end of the stick.
Yes, I'm going to stop you here, and I'm going. Please, if you want to call us on 0817 613 8290 to contribute. But before I get back to Gozie, because I'm going to go back to Gozie. Me and her share the same culture. Then we'll take. I'm going to read out what some Tara said. Tara Martin said, "We must not use our children to pay back our husband's family. And likewise, if you love your brother, you should love his children at the very least." That is what Tara said. Gozie, what do you have to say? Because you know the reality, Gozie, in our tribe, you cannot give your daughter out in a marriage. So no matter, irrespective of how they abandoned you, and when they are grown up, you have to go looking for them. What do you say to that widow that's, based on what Tara has said? Let's hear your own contribution.
Yeah, it's I don't want to approach this matter just talking to the widow, because that will embolden the in-laws. A lot of Igbo in-laws are terrible, and we have to address them frontally. A lot of Igbo in-laws are terrible to widows, and some of them will even say it ahead of time. Let her go now. When her children will start getting married, she will come and beg us.
That's a good one.
I want to let you know that from Old Park, a widow can hire 4 thugs and make abada for them and call them her in-laws and pay them to and take the money. Anybody, I can even hire I can ask my sister Regina to send me 4 men from her place who speak Igbo, and they will be in-laws. So listen, I'm very passionate about it, because
I agree with you.
I have heard in-laws say, "Hey, let her go now. When her children will need to get married, she will look for us." So now they use it as a blackmail tool to hold the widow, that even when they are maltreating her, even when they are taking what belongs to her, she's also conscious of the fact. There are young people in America that get married here without going home. There are people, I have attended marriage ceremonies here in America, in London. They didn't go home to do traditional marriage. Even my own cousins got married, outside the village. So it shouldn't be used as a bait to now maltreat the widow. Now, that's on one side.
Yeah.
On the other side, listen, my widowed friend, they have done everything. Do you know the best revenge? If you must revenge, is success. That's why we don't want you to, they didn't call me. Don't expect anybody to call you. Or they are not talking to me. Don't expect anybody. You need that solitude to shoot from 6 cylinders and be the best you can be. Listen, when you suddenly become the Honorable Minister of External Affairs of the Federal Republic, they will want to come. They will
call you my wife.
Introduce you our wife. Now you are nobody. Go and make yourself somebody and stop thinking about marriage.
Exactly. Stop thinking. No, because I'm not going to go to that side where that's a discussion for, because when you stop thinking about that marriage, it means that you're talking to me. Leave that discussion for another side. But anyway,
you know what I mean. But I will also advise widows, you have to get a point you forgive. Forgiveness is not for them. It's for you.
Exactly.
And let them that marriage that day, as your daughter is changing, in our tradition, you change the girl that is getting married changes clothing up to 3 times. As your daughter is changing, you're also changing.
Okay. How do you know that? When my first daughter, when she married, it took me unaware. So I was all over the damn places. So by the time the second daughter married, I changed 4 times. As soon as she goes into change, I go into change. Anyway, from that, I'm going to go to Bumi. Bumi, we are talking about the family. No, but the reality is, Gozie made a very strong point, because one of the problems I have with our system is that we place every blame on the doorstep of a woman. So keeping it, making us unduly exploited, used, discarded, and whatever word you want to do with it. And she made a very valid point. That's, so that we doesn't go, empowering them more. But having said that, what are you going to say to the family? I will always bring it to your doorstep, because you are a mental health person that sees people. Because, what?
Okay. Hope has gone off with where she stopped. Let me continue where she stopped. as a
One of
family.
the truth about life is that in this side of our culture, we bravado everything. You know that most of our frustration and that our bitterness is because of what we are holding inside. What are you going to say to those family and to that widow from the point of view of, yes, they have abandoned you, but now they are coming back?
Okay. As a professional, like Gozier said, the best thing is to forgive. And the best thing you can do is to be successful.
Yeah.
Like I keep telling widows that are close to me, I said, even if your success has not reached the peak where they can announce you, announce yourself.
I know.
You announce yourself. Go on Facebook, take picture, sit inside the car, snap yourself, depress them. Don't let them depress you. Why would you let somebody depress you, for God's sake? Give them double dose of depression. Do things that will make them this is me. If you say you don't like me, maybe because of my profession, I take my own picture, I send it to your WhatsApp. Let me give you a gist. The first day I enter first class, I save money to enter first class. You see all those people that say this widow, this girl is bad. I snap out the picture there, sleeping in the first class like this, and I threw it to their WhatsApp. They must know Bumi has arrived. And that's the best way to deal with all these people. Let them know you have arrived. And when you have arrived, those in-laws, those families that are against you, automatically they want to know you. Depression. You have given them a double dose of depression. The depression is affecting their mental health. So the mental health is already down. Just seeing you alone. Yes.
Bumi has arrived. I'm going to stop there. Bumi has arrived. Bumi, you didn't tell me now. I never entered the first class. So I said,
only once now.
Yeah, I know. But you know, the message here is this: find what gives you happiness and do it once in a while. Don't ever lose the discussion. Why we are bringing it and putting in some of this jazz is just to make it entertaining. But don't ever lose the message. The message is saying to us is this: your mental health matters, and to get that mental health, you must think about your happiness. Like I said in the broadcast, we say, don't look for who, be the who. She did not look for who will get the first class for her. She saved her both art to get it, and she enjoyed it just once, and she can tell the story. So what is that you need? Work for it, go for it, don't expect it. Having said that, you know, we are going to say, because we are now talking about you, what you have to do. You know, 2 Saturdays ago, when we started this, one of the widows asked this question. Now that in-law has taken everything from me, because it's the same thing we are saying. Start it yourself, build yourself. And somebody is asking you, Regina, now that the in-law has taken everything from me, yes, I have the document. I am the legally married wife, but they have taken everything from me. Regina, do I spend all my time going to court, fighting this battle? What do I do next?
Thank you. Thank you so much for this question. Thank you so much. You see, one of the things that, now I am one of those that believe I like things to be done in a legally and a conclusive manner. But we have a nation, we have a judiciary or legal system that drags things. We have seen many widows that some had to even die in the course of trying to get, their husband's wills. We know of police officers right now, there's a police officer, a widow, that is still going through how to get some things from for our husband's emolument. How much more the family? I just had an Instagram interview with a young lady. I'm about even having. She lost her husband in the Dana crash. She lost her husband at 26. This young lady is one of the people that I am so proud of. You know what this young lady did? She knew she's a lawyer by profession and just woke up one day because she was left with a baby, their first child, a toddler. She, with the help of her father, thank goodness for good fathers, decided to think inward. because she said it got to a point that just to get the compensation from the sides and get an agreement with the family of the husband became a Herculean task. What did she do? She didn't want to wait. And she made up her mind. She said it wasn't even about her family. She wasn't about going to start a legal profession. She wanted something new. What did she do? She began to learn catering. She began to learn catering. And this young girl today, if I should show you, if you should see her picture and they tell you she's a widow, you would never agree. Now, most of these widows, this is what we're saying. What I say on the widow's mind is to bring out the energy back into your life. Bringing back that energy. Telling yourself that the man died does not mean you died. And you are alive. You are alive. I mean, talk about educational or whatever form of knowledge you have. It did not die with him. It's unfortunate that he died. Can you wake up from that point and begin to tell yourself, what do I have to give myself? And if you consider these children as some of these children, especially some of us that say we had dreams, you hear a woman crying, oh, but we had this dream. Can you use this energy back inside of you and tell yourself, look, I am taking back this thing and I will make sure. Madam, anytime I remember your story, I'm overwhelmed. I sometimes look at you and say, for how many years this woman doggedly began to become a jack of all trade and mistress of everything. There are women that have sold they sold everything and anything. Any season you see them selling corn, that's the ones that are on the basis. How much more the ones that you have gone to school? Yeah. You've done something with your mind, and then you wake up and what you're doing is to be trying to fight with in-laws. Some of them are diabolical. Some are diabolical. Why are you trying to put yourself in a position that they will kill you? Exactly. So what do I do? Legally fight him, but what do? I take care of myself and face and punch, as it were.
I'm taking this question to Gozie because she's a lawyer and she's an advocate and she's a mentor to widows. Gozie, yes, we are saying, I have the papers. I have all the legal things. And do I make it now my job? If you ask me what I'm doing as a widow, I'm raising, instead of, I have 4 kids and raising, what do you do? He said, I'm in the court battling with my in-law over my husband's property. Gozie, what do you have to say about that?
Very good. I like how you made that statement because I have heard that said to me many times. Oh, I'm waiting for the battle to end.
I know.
But I will find what to do. You will not find what to do because the battle will never end. Now, let me take us back. When you say, from my personal experience, when you hear a widow say they've taken everything, may I tell you that some of the widows gave everything. And when they realize they shouldn't have given, they go for it and then it's late. Now, if I have a document to a property and you take over the property physically, I'm not going to go fight you physically. With that document, I will sell the property on you. There are things I could do, but I'm not going to put my life on pause because I'm fighting you. I'm not going to place my life on hold. And listen, like I told my children, I called my son. I said, you see this property where we live in Enugu? He said, yeah. I said, a widow's son built it. I said, and that widow's son is your father. And I don't expect you to end up here. I told him, I said, if you make me angry, I sell it. I sell it, buy British Airways first class ticket, and fly all over the world and spend the money. I said, don't upset me. Now look for your own. Look beyond this building. I said, your grandfather built a new layout, a densely populated area. Your father went to Independence layout. You should actually aspire to go and live in the government house. Now, if we have that mindset, we don't get stuck with, because some of the property they fight for, forget about the high-end property. So the property might be a piece of land in the village. I have been involved in a case in one of the communities near Nsukka, a piece of land that I went to. And I called the woman, I said, this is nothing. Your son is an apprentice trader in Onitsha. He could make more money and even find property within Nsukka city. Leave this for them. She said over her dead body and they killed her.
Exactly.
return for report of settlement to my office was the day she was buried. And don't place your life on hold because people will come up to fight. You know, widowhood is such a terrible thing. There are people that used to be friendly. You won't even know what you did to them. There are some of my husband's friends and family members that till today, I don't know what I did to them. But you know, they will hear, Gozie did. They will not even call you to ask, did you do this? Some will hear, Gozie said. And some of them are watching me and I'm speaking to you. The proper thing is to ask me, did you do this? Allow me to defend myself. But when you gang up to now shut me out, one day you will need me and I won't bring you in. So it's important that widows, listen, forget all those things. Focus on raising your children. If they kill you, your children will become orphans. When your children become orphans, it will be worse. Even if you are in court, you are not a lawyer going to court. So your life cannot be on hold. Even if you are in court, if they are calling you, and be very careful. I have lost 6 widows to covenant. You know, at a point they fight, I fight, and they say, oh, we have settled. Come, let's, in Igbo tradition, my sister Hope, they call it Ibando. Let's go and do covenant. And they cook and eat together. I have lost 6 widows from my group to that eating together. Because you don't know what they're eating. You don't know what has happened behind that eating. So you have to be very careful, but don't keep malice. Focus on your God and build yourself. With time, you will realize that that property they are even struggling over, that you could buy it 10 times. But don't put your life on hold.
Okay. I'm going to hold on. I'm going to take over my dead body. And I'll go to Bumi. Bumi, I'm going to start you on by telling you a story of a widow I know. This widow, you know, her story is even part of in my book. When the husband died, the mother-in-law was about 71. The husband was the first son. In fact, to cut the long story short, they struggled. Just like Gozie said, some of these things, it's unfortunate, really, that we have to be saying this. But, you know, once that thing happened, like the lady said, as if she knew, immediately the husband died, she picked all the bank documents and they left. Do you know, by the next hour, and gave to the sister and they left. By the next hour, the mother-in-law that was 71 with the brothers came asking for those bank documents and eventually went and locked their house, the just completed house that they were about to move into in Magodo. So this woman abandoned them and faced her work. She has a good work and she started raising her children. And she lives inside this high brow of Lagos Island here. She built the house herself. Guess what? As we're talking now, she's retired from her work. That same building that they took, you know, there's a proverb in my place that says, when it's tired, they bring it. Meaning, when an adult is holding your thing, raising hand, the child you stay there as a child. One day it's going to get tired and will drop the hand, you pick the thing. And that is exactly what happened. What do you now say? Because the reality, this woman asked that question last week. They have taken everything. You know, these are part of the things we say, entitlement mentality. Yes, it is your property. But who says that your life depends on it? And so, because yes, over my dead body. I have had people say that, over my dead body. I will not leave it for them. Because, Bumi, please, you're a mental health person. Discuss this.
Do you know the problem we are having is, like I keep telling widows, there's some things you don't need to fight over. You have a marriage certificate. You don't even need the document of the property. My husband has a property. Anybody that wants to contest it, let them go and contest it. Do they think I have time to be rubbing mind with them and be shouting, calling lawyers, going up and down? I don't have the time. I have the marriage certificate. I have this passport. I have all the documents. I can go to anyone and tell them the document of the house is stolen or the document of the house is lost. I declare it lost with my marriage certificate, with my children's certificates, all these things. They will issue you a new one. Get a new one. Sell the house, like Gozie said. Do they know who sold the house? Is it not when they see you, they do diabolical means to you? When they don't, you don't even need to have any conversation with them at all. And this is the basic truth. Widows, most of us are lazy. We are done too lazy. And that is why we're having all this problem. Because if nobody is lazy, you get up, you do your job.
Yeah.
What your husband has done, what your husband did before he died, do you know you can do more? And by the time you do more than this, then even though they will beg you to come and take that house. Because, for example, my husband built a bungalow and I decided to build 5-story building. Do you think, and they can't come there to that 5-story building, and they find out that me, I'm already highbrow. When they see me with my Bentley Continental car, they will come and beg me, come and take this house back. That is how it is. You don't fight unnecessarily for rubbish.
Yes, thank you. The message. Don't go scrabbling for what you had. I get them before. They say it no be property. So if you get them before and they are holding it, like they are all saying, if you have the document, keep it safe. I have seen widows that spent the money they will use to develop themselves and their kids and their businesses going to court. Gozie, with all due respect, if I'm going to call Gozie now, the highest, she can do it for me first day because she be my friend, free. Do it second day. By the third day, she's going to ask money because she has a life to live.
Yes.
So why I am busy saying that I'm struggling? She is working actually to get the thing for me, but she's making her business. Meanwhile, the small one I would have used to start up something and let things, because the reality is there's always a time that things calm down. It always calm down. It's always. And the only way to make it calm down faster, let me tell you the truth from the journey, is to be very independent. Don't go looking for them. Don't go fighting with them. Just be on yourself. And just like they say, whether if you are able to find yourself in first class, second class, but be purposeful and dedicated, and they see that you're paying your bills very well and your kids are growing up very well, they will eventually bow, and that thing they will bring it back to you. And having said that, I'm going to take us to a discussion that Regina, because I always like to put a balance in this thing. This marriage that Gozie touched about, that we are going to go into that discussion next week, but we are still going to round off this one, looking at what Regina said last week. Nigeria is a very moralistic nation. When it comes to church, you don't need anybody to tell you that in every family there are. I'm sure some families have more pastors than non-pastors, and in every street there's churches. And we now look at this thing. Why I'm bringing it is that last week discussion, she brought this moral based on the fact that I went to live with him without getting the certificate, which is very wrong. I am not supporting that, but I'm bringing the discussion level so that all of us can search our conscience. And when eventually now he dies, because of that greed, even because there's a young widow that came to my program on WFM 2 days ago, is exactly 1 year that she has been locked out of her house. The husband died 3 days ago. 1 year. It was 3 days ago. It was 1 year. So that the husband died on the May 12th. By May 13th, they pushed her out of the house that she built with the husband. I remember when she came to me and after the live discussion and everything. In fact, honestly, this lady, when she came to me on radio, WFM, when I looked at her and the picture of her I've seen on social media, I couldn't reconcile the two people until she told me her story. So meaning that some of us spend time killing ourselves more, helping them to kill ourselves more.
Yeah.
When we are now looking at this moral, Regina, it is it's a two-way street. What are you going to say to? Because Regina, I remember our program on May 8th.
Yeah.
When we talked about it, is let us leave the discussion of gender equality on the street. Let us even come down inside our house and build our house well.
Yeah.
The woman that does the traditional things in widowhood, the people that do it, who are they?
Women.
Those places, let me give you a mathematics. Everybody listen. The mathematics is this. I have 4 brothers-in-law who are married, and the sisters-in-law, and 2, let's assume, I'm just that probability, 2 sisters-in-law, and the 4 brothers-in-law, and they're all married. In this family, how many women do I have there?
Yeah, 6.
6. So 6 women are sitting down where they are doing this thing to me. What are we? Where is that moral? What are we going to say to the women? First, when you finish talking to the women, you talk to the men. Because we always say, what goes round comes round.
Comes around. Now, okay, talking about the moral, you actually you've made it in a nutshell, and it's very important. Now, let's be very factual. It has morality is a conscience. Is a conscience. We know good from bad even before you realize that, okay, I want to be a Christian, I want to be a Muslim.
Yeah.
It's innate in everyone to know the right and the wrong. We've seen nations, people that don't go to church, they don't call on God, but they know that it's bad to steal. They know it's bad to do this. Now, let's come back to this thing that you were talking about, women. Now, this lady, like last week we said, you stayed 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. You've had 1 child, 2 children, 3 children. And you never thought of saying, hey, man, go and legalize this thing or go and make this thing, constitutionally right, putting it that mildly or traditionally. You watch this man and he did what he did. His family were looking or was looking at him and didn't even caution him, especially when we know he might be the breadwinner. And your own family, maybe he's the one taking care of X, Y, Z. Most times, a woman does not have power to talk to that man because she found herself in a situation that she's the one always taking. She does not add anything, so to say, how would I say, financially to the family. He's the man that gives her, he gives her own family. So she has this question of, he's doing me this well. Why do I disturb him? But you forgot that morality means that you tell the truth, even if it's bitter. And that's where we are wrong. Morality doesn't mean just doing right. Doing right means I can tell you, you tell me, Regina, you are wrong. And I take it or I leave it. It's about time we understood the society itself that we are talking about. Women have always been in the forefront of the abuse of widows. When you see a family fighting a widow, guess what? The information that actually came that gingered or pushed the men to do what they're doing actually came from the women.
I'm going to hold you there.
Yes, it comes from the women themselves.
Yes, the information that started the whole commotion comes from the woman. Because what are you going to say to our women and the men, considering that what goes round always comes round? That the world is round, it's a rotational phase. One day the ball will roll to your side.
What I have to say is, before you do anything to anyone, place yourself in that person's position. If you are single, you are a female, you are single, or you are married, and in your family, a male relative dies, becomes late, and you suddenly resurrect that the day you visited them 50 years ago, the wife gave you one meat. That she didn't smile when she welcomed you. Maybe that one piece of meat she gave you was the only meat in the house, and she gave it to you to save the face of the family. Now, when you begin to resurrect everything she did and begin to resurrect it, you are not doing that because you love your brother. You actually hate your brother, and shame on you. You don't love your brother. You hate your brother. And you, woman that marries into a family, and you go there as a co-wife, and your co-wife loses the husband, and you gang up with other wives, your own husband will die. I am not God that kill people, but everybody will die. The day he will die, they will do the same thing to you. There are families that are bad, that they have historical background of maltreating women married into the family. You have to do spiritual mapping before you marry some of these families, because it's their culture. They maltreat. I know some of those families. They maltreat their wives even when their husbands are alive, and they finish them when the man dies. And now, if you are a man and your brother dies, and you go and knock on the door of your sister-in-law to sleep with her, and she says no, you start ganging up. Your own wife will also be a widow one day, and somebody must sleep with her. So put yourself in the shoes of people. That way you don't maltreat them. Listen, it's the women, like Sister Hope said. It's the women, like my sister Regina said. We are the ones that give out this information. A fellow woman confides in you. You go and blow it out, and because you think she's shining too much, That's why we are telling our widows, the 4 of us are saying today, continue shining. They shouldn't make you to stop shining so that those whose husbands are still alive will shine more. They cannot outshine you because I don't even know what to say. But listen, treat the widows better. It's getting out of, Sister Hope, I'm really very deeply angered because I have 2 cases before me that made me weep the other night.
I know.
What are these women doing to you that your own daughters have not done to you? Some of our mothers-in-law, your daughters have spat at you, they have cursed you, you did nothing. And when their own husbands died, you went to defend them. Now your son's wife, your son's widow, that will serve you and greet you every morning, yet you will not let her have peace.
Yes, you will not let her have peace. I'm going to stop you there. Bumi, you know, when you look about widows and our issue, I'm going to ask you to say something on a last note. And I'm going to, because this girl, her name is Sarah, she's watching. 2 days ago is exactly 1 year after interviewing this girl. Do you know, I'm telling you, that these girls made it clear that the husband was squatting with somebody when he asked her to marry her, and he said, you're going to marry me without a house. And together in love, they put head together. And she made it very clear that the first 1 million she raised in a business, she brought it and said, honey, let's put money together and buy a land. And they bought a land and built a house. And the man suffered of liver cancer and died. Died on the 12th. By the 13th, they chased her out with her daughter that is about 18 months. Until today, she is staying with her mother's house. And you know the funny thing on this story is that the brother-in-law, who is, well, I must say here too, in case they're hearing, they have already called her sometime last month to come and take the property. So they are waiting for the corona to end up. And I told her, make sure you go with your family. It was after the radio discussion, because that in-law is said to be a pastor in a church. You know why I'm putting it is because, Regina, you know, we said it, and Nigeria, we are a very moral nation. But when it comes to practice and acting, there's some big gap between our preaching and our acting. What are you going to say to people sitting out there and watching?
My word for people sitting out there, not just for the widows alone, even for the marriage, for the singles, every woman that decides to go and marry somebody, you are a potential widow. Either you like it or not, you are a potential widow. Get that into your thick skull, and it's going to bounce on your doorstep. It might be when the person is 90, 80, 40, nobody's know. Like Gozie said, she's not God. I'm not God. Hope is not God. Is not God. We don't know when anybody is going to die, but we are all dying one day. So that husband that you think you have, that is making you to molest another woman, is still going to die. So don't take it. And that thing, our religious leaders in Nigeria, you need to sit down and start thinking properly as the normal Christian the Bible is supposed to think. Because it's like when we're doing things, we take some of the Bible passages, put it in our bag. We don't read it because we are greedy. We are selfish. Your brother's wife that just lost her husband need to be pampered. You're a mother-in-law. You lost your son. This woman lost her husband. You cannot be close to your son like the wife. You don't sleep on the same bed. You don't plan together. And you are thinking you are lost off. You are not. It's high time to show your love to your son by showing love to this widow and her children. Brother-in-law, I'm talking to you today. Show love to those your sister-in-law that lost their husband. Friends, when the man died, you are there. I will do that. But after some days, they don't see you again. My turn is coming. You don't even know if it's that lady that you left that will be useful to your family when you are gone. Do the right thing.
Okay. You have had it, brothers-in-law, sisters-in-law, friends, and everybody. And the one point you raised, Bumi, which we are going to carry over next week, is the church, widowhood and the church, or widowhood and religion, because it is a very open-ended discussion. You know, one widow, one of the widows that, you know, we were chatting and we were talking. She said to me, I'm trying to see if I can quote her right. She said, why she cannot say that she was culturally abused, but even in the church, that she was spiritually, I have forgotten, but, you know, the discussion of her said that even inside the church, she got her share dose of the abuse. So you have all had it. The discussion here is this. A woman that lost her husband is your family. She came into your family and wants to be a member of your family, and she has built her life inside her. When you throw her out of greed, Bumi, you said love your brother's wife. No, I'm going to change you from there. They should not love me. I don't love your brother's children. Yeah, because if they love their brother's children, for example, if my in-laws decide that I'm a very bad woman, that's good enough, and decide my brother's children, every month they bring a bag of rice. Do you know they are loving me indirectly?
Yes.
Because they have saved us that buying that bag of rice. Don't love me, don't love us, don't, you know, love your brother's children. That love you professed for your brother, keep it on his children.
Yes.
Children will grow up mentally, emotionally, financially, you know, stable. That's all we are asking for. And thank you all, ladies. Join us next week. Next week, we are going to look at religion and the widowhood. What are the things they are doing? A widow in last week's discussion says something, and I'm going to end it with that. She said one of those Valentine's Day that she wept in the church, that the children were holding her, because the pastor said, oh, the married woman, go and start kissing your husband. And I said to her, I have been a victim of that. I'm not going to go angry because they have to enjoy their married man, their husband. That is not. But how do you bring these women inside the circle? That is what we're going to talk about next week. What are the various things that, even in that church that you go in, that they make you stand up like a sore top? That is an abuse. Thank you, ladies. And thank you. Bye-bye, everybody. See you next week.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
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 Yeah.